If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. Oh, loves on the road, subscribers and followers. I got a comment this morning that reminded me how naive I was when I first started out. They reminded me that when I was starting out, I would get on Facebook, tell people what my plans were, and you know, everybody, just like I've talked about over and over and over again, oh, come on out here, it's great, you're going to find all kinds of wonderful opportunities to pay for things, and blah, 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 and it's the high-paced sales pitch. Come on out here. Well, one of the things that you would repeatedly see, and I'd forgotten all about this until this morning when this person reminded me about it, was you can go to lots of national forests ran by the Department of Agriculture, and you can stay in one camp spot for 14 days and then move 5 miles down the road, stay for another 14 days, and then after those 14 days come right back to the spot you were at. And so basically you can stay all season or all year just bouncing back from that campground. And I'm telling you, as a naive wannabe nomad, that is absolutely enticing. Yes. I'll tell you how fast I forgot about it. It's never happened to us. We've never been to a national forest that we were able to just move 5 miles every 14 days. As a matter of fact, we thought we had a pass where we could stay in a national forest all season, and come to find out that was only through hunting season that we could do that, which was a 3-month. Every national forest we have been to has different rules. Every one of them has different rules. You go to George Washington National Forest or Jefferson National Forest over there in Virginia, West Virginia area, it's a 3-week stay limit. Others is 14 days. National forest, we're not talking about campgrounds, we're talking about national forest. It means you can come into the national forest, stay for 14 days, and then leave the national forest for 30, and then you can come back and stay another 14 days. Well, there's only a few states that have multiple national forests that you can actually do that in. Florida has 3 national forests, so you could go from Apalachicola to Osceola down to Ocala and then back to Apalachicola. You could probably make that work, but it's going to be a long drive. I mean, from one national forest to the other national forest, I think it's 200 miles from Apalachicola to Osceola. You could do that probably, I guess, in the Thomas Jefferson and George Washington National Forest. You can bounce back and forth between the two. So this morning, after being reminded of this dream that I had before I started about being able to travel 5 miles, I did a Google search and I typed in 14-day stay limit 5 miles national forest, and 2 popped up. Now I think don't quote me on this, I think there's like 128 different national forests in the United States. It could be more, I'm not sure. I was only able to find 2 on a simple Google search, and both of them were in the West. So this is not like, okay, this is the norm. It's actually kind of the exception. There's 2 out of 128. Yet somehow social media picked up on those 2 and said, okay, this applies to a lot of them. One of the things that we have noticed is these national forests really kind of keep the rules vague on this. It's interesting because Apalachicola, even though we had the pass and we weren't in violation because we were in hunting season, but we were talking to several rangers and National Forest Service people, the rule is actually national forest. But when you read it, and you read the signs throughout the national forest, you can easily misinterpret that and say it's 14 days per campground. Now all you got to do is move from one location to the other. It's easily misinterpreted. But when you actually talk to an individual, they say, no, you have to leave. You come to the national forest, you stay for 2 weeks, you leave for 30 days. Then you can come back. When we went to the Black Hills, again, the rules were very vague. It's not absolutely clear if you can stay 14 days and just move to a different area in the same national forest within that 30 days. This also kind of stretches into the BLMs, because the BLM people on social media will tell you can stay in the BLM for 14 days and then just move 25 miles. I saw that probably for an entire year. I saw 14 days, move 25 miles. 14 days, 25 miles. So you get into this idea, okay, well, if I go to the BLM, I can stay 14 days, move 25 miles. Until you find a rule somewhere that says 50 miles. What I'm trying to say, and I've said this so many times, is you can't trust social media. Yes, social media is right, but only in a small scale are they correct. They'll tell you, yes, you can stay 14 days and then move 5 miles. And that is not wrong. It's actually a true statement. But somehow that gets misinterpreted to that's the entire national forest system. Remember, every national forest has its own district. And its own district can make up its own rules based on its own circumstances. That's why you have to go to each national forest's website and look for specific information. I just posted the other day a video that I said you can't really trust freecampsites.net. Well, then somebody replied to me, all you got to do is contact freecampsites.net and they'll update the description or whatever of the campsite. Well, okay, that's fine. First, I have contacted free campsites, and they don't always update. As a matter of fact, I just saw one the other day where someone did contact them and said, okay, this is not right. The directions are wrong, and they don't have electric, even though it advertised to have electric, and free campsites didn't update it. The same thing applied. I updated the one over there in the National Forest in George, Washington. I said it's a 21-day stay limit, and I gave them the proof of the website. They didn't update it. It's still a 14-day stay limit. So there again, we're talking about social media not always being accurate, yet people are using these non-sourced comments as actual proof that this is okay. I told you the other day, I read a comment on Facebook one time said, the ranger came and talked to me and I showed them freecampsites.net, but the ranger didn't believe me. Well, because the ranger is looking at sourced information. The handbook, the website, the actual website where someone who actually made the rules wrote them down. Please do your homework. And I also encourage you that if you're not 100% sure from sourced information, that you try not to tell somebody on social media that this is correct information. So, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Click like if you like the video, and happy travels.